What's going on, guys? Alright, so we got to start everyone out with a good sip. As you can tell by the title of the video, today we're going to talk about the Texas Weapon Systems, aka TWS railed AK top cover. So if you haven't seen my other videos already up on my AKE build, I have one of the new current gen 3, I believe, rail top covers on this one, and I also have on an older gun one of their early, I want to say Gen 1 rail top covers, because this is back from 2011ish, around that time frame. 2010, 2011, so it's back when they first started with them. And I wanted to kind of go over some of the differences between the two and show them to you and kind of let you see what was happening. So in case you're not familiar, the TWS top cover is a railed top cover for an AK, and you can hopefully see the logo on there, the name. And the way it works is it replaces the factory rear sight. There's a pin that goes through there, and then this is on the early Gen 1s, and 2 bolts that go through into the top cover. And they have a couple of different pieces for the original ones. This one happens to be the one that has a built-in fixed rear sight. Fairly rudimentary, but it's just a fixed sight. That's all it needs to be and all it's supposed to be. But it gives you a rail top cover. They give you a replacement rear section for your recoil spring guide rod that has the button on it is specifically to fit through the hole on their top cover that locks it all into place. And the way it works is you pop the button and it hinges up. You can access everything, do what you need to do, and you maintain your zero. All your stuff's on there. Now, let's talk about the newer Gen 3. Before I do, that particular top cover, that's the second AK that it's been on. The first one that it was on belonged to my cousin, and it was an older Arsenal AK, and he had a 1:4. Yeah, he had a 1:4 scope on it, and actually used it hunting with a couple of times. So it was plenty good to do the things that it needed to do. Now let's step up to Gen 3, current generation. So you still maintain your same attachment point where the rear sight would normally be at. Pin goes through there. However, right there's where the differences start. Where the leaf spring is at for the rear sight normally, if you're familiar with an AK, there's a notch in the sight tower right here that the leaf spring slides into. So this has a replacement piece that slides in there in place of the leaf spring for the rear sight, and then this bolt right here goes into that and puts tension on it and clamps it down and locks it into place at a second point in addition to the front pin in the front sight tower. Then you've got your 2 bolts right here that go into the top cover, and instead of having your backup sight here, you've got options for a rear sight. I went with the peep sight just because the rear peep sight, old habits die hard. I'm a long-time AR guy, and it gives me a sight picture much more reminiscent of what I'm used to after decades of shooting on an AR. Okay, gives you a regular Picatinny rail up top. Same deal, they give you a replacement rear section for your recoil spring guide that locks into the top cover and makes it nice and solid. Doesn't move, doesn't shake, doesn't wiggle, holds zero great. Here's the probably biggest difference between the first gen and this one. On this one, it doesn't hinge up here on the pivot pin in the front side block. It hinges right here. This piece stays stationary. Now you can still get access to everything, but there is a captive push pin right there, just like on an AR receiver. It's captive, that allows you to take the whole top cover off. This piece stays attached. Again, if I want to work on anything and I don't want to bother having this on, I can take it off. To put it back on, we simply line it back up, push the pin back through, and it's hard to do this with it way up there in front of the camera, me leaning forward. Then you just lock it back in and you're back good to go. Guys, I'm telling you, this thing is solid. Now, I know there are folks that don't like the rail top cover idea. I know there are folks that are going to tell you they don't work, and I even have a couple of close friends that are not fans of these, and that's fine. Your mileage may vary. I can only tell you what my personal experience with these are and has been over a number of years. Personally, I really like them. I think they are a great mounting option for most AKs. The side rail is still a usable idea as well, but for me, this is the best option for me, partly because, again, you'll notice I've got the primary arm Cyclops on there. I've got an older Gen 1 Cyclops on here. With my eyes and everything, I've got to have that etched reticle that they offer. And this allows me to get the proper placement of the optic for my eyes. So it's a good option. It also, if I wanted to, I could put an LPVO on here. I could do all kind of things. Then what that does is it leaves your gas block open. So if you wanted to put a railed gas block on to mount other things on, it leaves your entire rail gas block open so that you can mount other stuff up front should you have a desire to do that. So again, that's kind of the biggest differences between the Gen 1 and the Gen 3. Yeah, I think that's what I said. Brain's getting old, guys. Need that caffeine kick to keep it going. Biggest differences. This one actually lets you remove it, where on the older generation you can't. It's pretty much fixed on there. You'd have to completely push the pin out and remove it all to take it off. This one you don't. You've just got a captive push pin right here. Simple as you can get. I'm a huge fan. Again, your mileage may vary, but that's me. No, TWS is not paying me a dime to talk good about their stuff. They're not paying me a dime to make this video. None of that's happening. We got to do this disclaimer now, it seems like every time, because people think if you actually like something and you use it and you want to tell people about it and talk positive about it, that you're either a paid shill or you're an idiot, don't know what you're doing. Well, I ain't getting paid, so I guess that leaves you to make the assumption that I'm just an idiot and don't know what I'm doing. So if you want to make that assumption, go ahead. Ain't gonna bother me a bit. As always, set your stuff up to work for you. Okay? Don't copy me. Don't go off what I'm doing. Set yours up how it works for you. If what works for you is similar to what works for me, great. If it's not, doesn't matter. The only person it matters to is you, and that it works for you. I just like to show you what I'm using and what I like. Maybe give you ideas and options in setting your own stuff up. Alright? As always, guys, stay safe, take care, get out there and train, get out there and practice. Doesn't matter what you're using. If you don't practice with it and you don't get proper training with it, it ain't gonna matter. It's not gonna matter what it is. I'd be a broken record, but I would tell you again, get out there and train. Time's a wasting. Clock's ticking. Go do the things. Y'all stay safe. I'll see you later.